So I hope my screen is visible, and I'm just going to scribble something. I hope that is also visible. If, one of you can please confirm.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, great. So let's quickly recap what we had done yesterday. So we had proceeded with the concept of CDF, which stands for cumulative distribution function. It is known as cumulative because it cumulates or adds the probability at every point. So if you have the value x here, and if you have the CDF fx of x, then the CDF looks like a staircase function with a final value of 1 because the total probability is 1. It starts with a value of 0, and each of those lines are x1, x2, x3, and x4, right? So with this graph, with the CDF graph, I can calculate the probability at the probability of the random variable x at x equal to 4, right? So this will be the probability here, right? So at every point, let's say x4 or x2, I can get the probability value. Further, if I accumulate, if I add all these probabilities, that total probability, if I denote it as P total, that total probability is going to be 1, right? And we then saw the properties of the CDF. So a very important property which we saw is, if I want to calculate the probability between 2 points, let's say between x1 and x2, then the CDF helps us. All you have to do is find fx of x2, that is the CDF at x2, and subtract it with the CDF at x2. Right? So based on this property and the other properties, we solved some numericals on CDF, and then we moved on to what is known as the PDF, which is the probability density function. Right? So what is this probability density function? It is basically finding the density or how much of a probability occurs at a range of points. Right? So the CDF and PDF are related, and they are related in the form of the PDF fx of x, it is denoted with a small f, and capital X here is the random variable and small x is the value. So fx of x is just the derivative of the CDF fx of x. On the other hand, you can find the CDF fx of x as an integral of fx of x dx. Okay. The starting point for any experiment is the lowest value. That means we have not yet started conducting the experiment. So the lowest value is negative infinity. The highest value for any experiment is when you have stopped the experiment and the total probability becomes 1. So the highest value is positive infinity, and this value is the total area under this integral, and that value is 1 because the total probability is always going to be 1. So the total area under a PDF is 1. This is a very important property, and it will help us in solving many numericals. Also, if you're not conducting an experiment till plus infinity, you can write in general that the CDF can be obtained from the PDF starting at the lowest value. That means when you have not conducted any experiment till some value x, fx of x dx. Okay, so you can see the difference here. So if I just mark it with an arrow, you can see the difference, what the difference is. Here, the difference is that I have conducted all the experiments till plus infinity. So the total probability is 1. Whereas here, I am conducting the experiment till some value x. I do not know what that value will be. Once I evaluate the integral, only then I will get the value. Obviously, this value cannot be 1 because I have not conducted all the experiments. parameters, right? So there is a difference here. Once we solve the numericals, you will understand what exactly the difference here is, right? Then we have also seen some other properties. For example, the PDF is always non-negative. Therefore, fx of x is always going to be greater than 0. So these are some helpful properties which will guide us in solving some numericals. Towards the end of the lecture yesterday, I also specified what are the applications of the PDF. The most important application is finding the population of a country. Right? For that, just to give you an idea, there is a distribution known as the Gaussian distribution, which helps us in finding the population of a country. Okay. The other applications of PDF would include finding parameters such as variance, standard deviation, average, which is also known as expectation. Very important in communication engineering, it is known as spectral density. Okay, so we wish to find the spectral density, which is related to the bandwidth. So the PDF will help us in finding those parameters. Right? Okay. So here in this course, we are interested in solving certain numericals based on PDF. So let's look at a couple of numericals. So let me write the question. I hope you are sitting with a pen and paper to solve the numericals with me. Okay. So the question is, so let me call this numerical 1 for the day. The PDF is described by small c into x minus 6, small c into x minus 6 for all values of x between 6 and 10 and comma and is 0 otherwise, and is 0 otherwise. The question is, find the value of c and evaluate probability of x greater than 8. X greater than 8. Okay. So very important in these kind of questions is that you first understand what are the parameters or what is the information that is given to us, followed by what is it that you need to find. If you read the numerical as a whole, as a complete statement, there is a very high possibility that you may get confused or you may find it very tough, right? So always break the numerical. This is my suggestion. Always break the numerical into two parts. One, what is the information which is given to you, followed by the next part, what is it that you need to evaluate, right? So if I break the numerical, if I go by that logic, I can break the numerical into two parts. So I'll just draw a dotted line. So if you see the statement on top of the dotted line, the information which is given to us is that there is a PDF, right? So I know that I have to deal with fx of x, right? This is the first information that I have. Okay. So if we don't understand that, we'll not be able to write this information mathematically, right? So the PDF is described. Now, how is this PDF described? Described means the PDF is equal to something, right? That's how you are going to describe. So it is described as some c into x minus 6 for what? For values of x between 6 and 10. That means the value c into x minus 6 exists only when x is between two values, that is 6 and 10. So I write this mathematically like this. So fx of x, the PDF has a value c into x minus 6 for values of x between 6 and 10. This is what is stated to us, and followed by 0 otherwise. That means the value of the PDF is 0 for all other cases. Right? So I can put a curly bracket like that. So these are the two values of the CDF that you can have depending on the value of x. Right? So this is the information that I get, which is mentioned on top of those dotted lines. Right? Now let's read the information that is given at the bottom of the dotted line, and that is exactly what we need to evaluate. Right? So there are two things that we need to evaluate in this numerical. One is we need to find the value of C, and next is to evaluate probability of x greater than it. So I need to first find one value of C. So I'll put C equal to question mark. And the second thing that I need to calculate here is probability of x greater than 8. Right? So these are the two things that we need to find. Okay. Now, how do I find the value of C? Any ideas? Anybody? Any ideas? How can I find the value of C? I'll give you a hint. Look at the properties of the PDF and let me know what can we do. You need to apply one of the properties. Which property can be applied? Anybody? Okay, I'll further give you a hint. The most important property of the PDF.
Second property.
Which is that property?
Total area under PDF is
Area under?
The PDF is always one.
PDF is always.
Yes, that's correct. So we are going to use the property that area under the PDF is always going to be 1. Now, I think 2, 3 or 4 of you were mentioning the same property. So that's the most important property. But how did I come to know that I have to use that property? Right? That is more important than just applying the property. By applying the property, I'll get my answer. But why did we think of that property? The reason why we thought of that property is because we know that wherever the PDF exists, right, that total or that density is always going to be equal to 1. The total probability is always going to be 1. So I can see from this mathematical equation which I have written by the information which is given to me that the PDF exists only between 6 and 10. For all other values, it is 0. That means I'm not conducting any experiment. So I'm only worried about where I'm conducting the experiment. So I'm conducting the experiment between the values of x as 6 and 10, and there the total probability is always going to be 1. Right? So as correctly identified by some of you, to find the value of C, I am going to use the property that the total probability under total of the PDF fx of x dx is always going to be 1. Now this is from minus infinity to plus infinity. So we are just going to modify this according to the scenario in this numerical, and the limits here will become 6 to 10. And now I will insert the PDF value, which is c into x minus 6 dx, and that value is equal to 1. So now you can see that instead of doing the PDF, this numerical is now just converted into a very simple integration numerical, right? So all you have to do in CDF PDF is understand what exactly is that you need to apply, whether it is a CDF or PDF, apply the property, and then it just turns out to be a very simple algebra, integration, differentiation, and so on, so forth, right? So let's solve this integration. This is under the assumption that you are good with the integration part. You need a lot of integration and you need a lot of differentiation in this course. Okay. So let us integrate this value. So you'll have 6 to 10. I'll now open the bracket. So you'll have cx dx minus integral 6 to 10 c into 6 dx equal to 1. Right. Therefore, for the first bracket, I'll take the c outside the integral because it's a constant. Integral of x dx will be x square by 2, and I'll insert the limit 6 to 10 minus. The second term is just a constant, so I'm going to have 6 into c outside, and we'll be left with an integral dx. That value is just going to be x, and the limit will be 6 to 10 equal to 1. Right? I hope you have understood this. If I take just this term, if I take just this term here, right, and write it here, this term will be c into 6 is a constant, so I'm going to take c into 6 outside. It will be an integral 6 to 10 dx, right? So integral of that will just turn out to be 6 into c into x, right? So that is what I have written here. Okay. So let's evaluate this term now. So you'll have c into, or I'll take the 2 outside, and you have x square. So 10 square is 100 minus 36 minus 6c, and you'll have 10 minus 6, and that will be equal to 1. Right? So overall, what you'll get from here is c by 2 minus 6c into 4 so you'll have 32c minus 24c equal to 1. So you have 8c equal to 1, which implies the value of c is 1 by 8. Is that clear how we have solved it? So it's a very simple problem, provided you are able to identify that we have done the, we have to evaluate the CDF, the PDF, followed by applying the property that the total area under the PDF is always going to be 1, right? So I hope this was clear. Any questions on this? Any questions on this?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
We'll do a numerical next, and you'll understand when you solve it yourself. Yeah. Anybody with a question? Okay. So the next numerical I'll ask you to solve yourself so that you'll really understand whether you have completely understood or not. Okay. Now let's look at the second part. So the second part says that we need to evaluate probability of x greater than 8. Probability of x greater than 8. Now I want you to go back and look at the properties of PDF and see how we can evaluate the probability given an event which is occurred. Which property can be used to find the probability? Do you have any property which we can use to find the probability?
Fourth property, sir.
What is that property?
Integration of minus infinity to x fx of x dx.
Okay, that's correct. So you will see a probability, a property like this, that you have p of x less than x equal to integral minus infinity to x fx of x dx. Do you see a property like this? You can give me an answer. Do you see a property like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, what is the difference between what we have to calculate and what is given in that property?
It is less than 8, sir. Here it is greater than.
Okay, so you can see here what we are given, what we are asked to calculate is x greater than 8. However, what is given in the property is x less than equal to x, right? So directly I cannot apply this property. So what should I do? What can I do? If I want to apply this property, what should I do to the left hand side? What should I do here? Or what can I do here? Let me give you more hint. How can I convert this greater than, this value, this greater than, into less than equal to? What can I do? What should I do? Anybody?
We can take the next unit possible.
That will make it a little complicated. Could be done. Any other easier idea? Okay, let me give you another hint. If you understand this, then things become easy. Okay, the probability. Okay, leave this for now. The probability of occurrence of let's say a red car being parked in a parking is 0.8. Okay, what is the probability that this red car will not be parked in the parking? How will you find that?
1 minus 0.8.
1 minus 0.8, that is 0.2, right? So what have you done? The occurrence of an event, red car in the parking, is 0.8. The non-occurrence of the red car in the parking is 1 minus 0.8. Therefore, if I have to convert greater than symbol into a less than equal to symbol, then what should I do? See, this is the total probability of occurrence here, right? This is the probability that you calculated for not occurrence, that is less than. So what should I do? What have I done here? I have done a what? See, I'm highlighting it too, giving you hint. What have I done?
1 minus.
1 minus, right? So now if I take, let me erase this. Now if I take what I have to evaluate, that is p of x greater than 8, and if I have to convert it into a less than or equal to, which is there in the property, I have to write this as 1 minus probability of x less than equal to 8. Did you understand? Now you can see that this part is same as the property, right? So the property is there. We need to know how we can apply that property. Okay, so that is the catch in this part here. Okay, so now things become very easy. It is just an integration that we need to do. So having converted the given parameter, that is p of x greater than 8, to 1 minus p of x less than 8. Now we'll just apply the property. Therefore, you'll have 1 minus integral fx of x dx, right? And the property is, okay, you'll have to be very careful with the limits. See, the property is from minus infinity to some x. Okay, now let's go back to the problem. The CDF exists between what points? The CDF exists between points 6 and 10. That means we are starting the experiment at the lowest point. That means this 6 is like minus infinity. This is where we are starting the experiment, and this 10 is the final value where we are completing the experiment. Therefore, this 10 is like plus infinity, right? I hope this is clear. So the lowest point is 6 and the highest point is 10. Now if I come back to the property says that the lowest limit is negative infinity. So in this problem, I am starting at the value of 6. However, this value here is x. It is not plus infinity, right? So what should I fill for x? What should I fill for x? I have to find the probability less than or equal to 8. Okay, plus infinity in this problem is 10, highest point. However, I have to calculate the probability only for less than or equal to 8. Therefore, this value x here is nothing but 8. So I am not conducting the experiment till the highest point 10. I am only conducting the experiment starting at the lowest point 6 and I am going till a point 8. I am not conducting for 9 and 10. That is the difference here. Did you understand? Any questions on this? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So in general, you have to understand the difference between what we have done in part 1 and part 2. In part 1, you have done a total of the probability. Therefore, the limit was from 6 to 10, minus infinity to plus infinity. In the second part, you do not have to calculate the entire experiment. Why? Because the problem is asking you to calculate only till point 8. Okay, so you are starting the experiment at the lowest point, which is 6, and you are ending to the point where the numerical is asking you to calculate, that is 8. Right? So I can now write this equation as 1 minus integral 6 to 8, and now I'll put in the value of the PDF which is given to us, which is c into x minus 6. I have already calculated the value of c in the previous part, which is 1 by 8. So I will substitute as c as 1 by 8 into x minus 6 dx. So again, this part has also converted to a very simple integration value. Right? So let's solve this integral. So you'll have 1 minus, I'll get the 1 by 8 outside because it's a constant. Then you have x, so integral will become x square by 2. You have negative 6, so it will become negative 6 into x, and the limits here will be from 6 to 8. So calculating this further, this will be 1 minus 1 by 8. First value will be 8 square by 2 minus 6 into 8 minus 6 square by 2. Minus of minus will become plus 6 square plus 36. Okay. So you'll get 1 minus 1 by 8, 64 by 2 minus 48 minus 36 by 2 plus 36. So this value using the calculator, so you'll have 1 minus 2 by 8, so you'll get 6 by 8, which is 3 by 4, which is 0.75. Okay, so you can see that the total value here has not come to be to 1. Why? Because we have not calculated till 10. We have calculated only till 8. Right? Because that is what the numerical was saying. Find the probability for p x greater than 8. That is, we have done it for 1 minus p less than or equal to 8. Right? So that value has come to 0.75. If you evaluate for 9, you will get a higher value. When you evaluate till 10, we have done it in the first part, your total value is going to be 1. Right? So I hope this numerical was clear. It's a simple numerical applying the properties of the CDF, the PDF. Right? Any questions on this numerical? Okay. So let's try out another numerical. I expect you to do this numerical yourself. So the question is, the following is the PDF following is the PDF of a random variable of a random variable of a random variable u, or I should write capital U, of a random variable u, and it is given as f u of u, which is c exponent minus u by 2 between for u less than or equal to 1 and 0 otherwise. So this is how the PDF of this random variable is defined. The question is find the value of c. So this is the first part. The second part is find fu of 0.5. Find fu of 0.5. So the second part is asking you to find the CDF. Okay. So I'll just give you a minute. I'm very sure you'll be able to find the first part. You have to apply the same property. The integral, the total area under the integral under the PDF is going to be 1. Okay. So just try it out. I'll give you a minute. I'm hoping you are trying to solve it. So let me start now here. And, so let's start the solution somewhere here. So we need to calculate the value of C, and the PDF is between 0 to 1. So I'm going to write integral 0 to 1 f u of u du is 1, right? And let's see what is the PDF. It is e raised to minus u by 2. Therefore I'm going to write this integral as 0 to 1 e raised to minus u by 2 du, which is going to be equal to 1. Right? 1 second. I think yeah, it is c e raised to. Okay. So there should be a c somewhere. C e raised to minus u by 2. Integral between 0 to 1 should have a value of 1. Right? So in the next step, I'm going to take c outside the integral. So and the integral of e raised to minus u or minus x dx is just going to be e raised to minus x, that is e raised to minus u by 2 divided by minus 1 by 2. And this will have a limit between 0 to 1, and this should be equal to 1. That implies, now I'll take the denominator to the numerator, so I'll write minus 1 by 2 as minus 2, so you'll have minus 2c, and then I'll plug in the limits. So e raised to minus u by 2, so the first value will be e raised to minus 1 by 2 minus e raised to minus 0 by 2. and this value should be equal to 1. You'll have 2c here, right? So you'll have negative 2c into e raised to minus half minus 1 equal to 1. Therefore, the value of c, now I'll cross multiply, so it will be negative 1 divided by 2 e raised to minus half minus 1, right? So any of you, if you have solved, let me know what value you get. I'm also using a calculator here.
1.2690.
Let me see. Yeah, so I get somewhere around 1.27. 1.269, 1.27, something like that. Okay. Right? So we can rewrite the PDF. Therefore, we can rewrite the PDF including the value of C. So f u of u, this should be capital. F u of u will now be c e raised to minus u by 2. So value of c is some 1.27 or 1.269. So you have 1.27 e raised to, so exponent of minus u by 2. This is for u between 0 and 1, and 0 for all other times. So you can write else or otherwise. In some books, you will also see this otherwise written just as else. Okay, they are one and the same. So all other values. So now your PDF looks like that. Was this clear? I think I'm assuming most of you got the answer. Any questions on this? Okay. So please don't go wrong with the integration. Okay, that's very, very important here. Now let's look at the second part. So in the second part, let me scroll up. In the second part, they are asking us to find fu of 0.5. So if you look at the second part here, they are asking you to find fu of 0.5 and it's capital F. So basically, this is the CDF. This is the CDF. So in the second part, we need to find fu of 0.5. And we know from the property that CDF fu of u is nothing but integral minus infinity to u fu of u d. Right? So this is the property how we can find the CDF given the PDF. Right? But what is to be noted here is that the lower limit is negative infinity because that's where we are starting the experiment. However, the higher value is some u. It is not plus infinity, right? But in the problem, in the numerical, we are given this value of u as 0.5. Therefore, I will rewrite the equation. So fu of u, the CDF, is nothing but negative infinity to 0.5. Now I'll plug in the value of the PDF, which is 1.27 e raised to minus u by 2 d. Once I evaluate this integral value, I should be able to get the value of the PDF at the value of the CDF at 0.5. Right? So all you have to do is now integrate this. Right? So fu of u will now become, I'll get the 1.27 outside the integral. We'll have minus infinity to 0.5 e raised to minus u by 2 d. Therefore, fu of u will become 1.27. You'll have e raised to minus u by 2 divided by minus 1 by 2 minus infinity to 0. So you have fu of u as 1.27 into, I get the negative 2 from the denominator here. You have e raised to minus 0, which is 1, and you have e raised to minus plus infinity, so that is going to be 0, right? Therefore, f u of u is negative 1.27 into 2, which is nothing but negative  Am I right? Anybody?
So we were
154.
calculating for
Sorry,
5.
what happened?
Sir,
We
that
were
is
cal-
0.5.
so u value at we were calculating at 0.5.
At
Sir, you
0.5.
take 0.
Okay.
Take on 0.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. So there are some students who are awake. Okay. So we are calculating the value of u at 0.5. So I should get the value in terms of u. Okay. So whatever I have done is not correct. Okay. So please let me know how we can evaluate this. Okay. So it's good to see students who are there, who are following. Okay. Okay, I'll keep doing this in my lecture, so please be awake. Okay. So we are calculating fu of u, that is this CDF, in terms of 0.5, because this value of 0.5 is given to us, right? So all I have to do is integrate this in the form of u. Okay, integrate it in the form of u and then find the value at 0.5, right? So can anyone tell me the answer to this?
minus 1.97.
Minus 1.9. Anyone else?
Yes, sir, minus 1.97.
Okay. So I get somewhere around minus 1.96. Okay, that is because of the value there. Okay. So you'll get somewhere around, this is what I have. Do you have that with you? Somewhere around minus 1.96. Okay. Okay, great. So it's good to see students are contributing. Good. Okay. So we've solved two numericals based on PDF. We've solved two numericals based on CDF. So before the lecture tomorrow, I just want to introduce you to another kind of PDF, which is known as the probability mass function. Probability mass function, or in short PMF. This is same as the PDF. The only difference is PDF is used when the random variable is continuous. PMF is used when the random variable is discrete. Right? So in the introductory lecture, I had explained to you what is the difference between continuous signal and discrete signal. So a continuous signal looks like this. If I place, let's say, amplitude here. So a continuous signal, if I draw a sinusoidal signal, a continuous signal always changes with time. Let's say the highest value here is 5 and the lower value here is -5. So you can see that at all times, T1, T2, T3, T4, at all times, the value of this signal is different. So at T1, it has, let's say, value 4. At T2, it has value 5. At T3, it has value 0. At T4, it is having a value of -5. Right? So this continuous signal is denoted as, if the signal value is x, it is denoted as x of t, because it is changing at all instants of time. This kind of a random variable or this kind of a signal is also known as an analog signal. Right? So in your principles of communication systems class, you'll be studying about amplitude modulation and frequency modulation, which are analog modulation techniques, right? Because they deal with analog signals. Right? If I compare this with discrete signals, right, these signals look like this. So these kind of signals, discrete signals, occur at only instants of time. So I denote this signal, if I call this signal as x or variable as x, these occur at only instants of time. This n here denotes instants of time. If I want to be more specific, these are discrete instants of time. That means there is no value between 1 and 2. There is no value between 2 and 3, between 3 and 4, between 4 and 5. These signals occur only at discrete instants of time. So I told you in that lecture, you can see this kind of a signal in your Windows Media Player when you play the song. Okay, these kind of signals will be bouncing around when you increase or decrease the volume, right? So these are known as discrete signals. For these kind of signals, we cannot get or find the PDF because the PDF is used for continuous signals. Therefore, we always integrate the PDF. Whereas we cannot use this integral for discrete signals. Why? Because these discrete signals or discrete random variables do not occur at all the times. They occur only at instants of time. Therefore, for these kind of random variable signals, instead of integral, we use summation and we summate the PMF. Right? So summation will look like for some n equal to 0 to some 10. Whereas in the integration, we just put an integral, let's say from 0 to 10, some value dx. Whereas for the PMF, we are always going to sum it. So this is the difference between evaluating the PDF and evaluating the PMF. The properties remain the same. For example, integral from n as minus infinity to plus infinity of any PMF is always going to be 1. So if you summate all the PMFs, the total value is always going to be 1. Right? So how is this summation of PMF going to look like? It will look like this. When I put the value of n as infinity, I will get p minus infinity. Then when I put value of p as 0, I'll get p 0. Plus when I put the value as 100, I'll get p 100, and so on till p infinity, and the total, that is from minus infinity to plus infinity, will always give me. Right? So the concept is the same. Only difference is that we are calculating in the PDF, we are calculating using the integral value, whereas for the PMF, we are going to use the discrete values, and therefore the numericals also will become a little different. Okay. So this is just an introduction to the PMF. We'll do more details about the PMF in tomorrow's lecture, and we will also look at how we can solve some numericals based on this probability mass function. Okay. After doing the probability mass function, we'll be used to CDF, PDF, PMF. Then I plan to do specific random variables. So you have different random variables like a uniform random variable, you have a Poisson random variable, Bernoulli random. So there are different kinds of random variables, and these are also asked in the exam questions, right? So I intend to do those kind of things after we do the PMF, right? So please go back and read whatever we have done, solve the numericals also. If you have any questions, you can contact me. I'll be putting up this video as well as the other 3 videos from previous class into the YouTube channel, and I will share the link with you. You can view them. They will also be available on the Teams group. Okay. So I'll see you tomorrow in the lecture. I think we have the first lecture tomorrow. Okay. Okay, thanks.